Music education. It's a vital part of our school system, whether it be your first grade musical or an advanced theory class in college. It's the reason we have music on the radio, in concert, and on our phones. But it seems this kind of education is being seen as less important. Every time schools go to make budget cuts, the arts are always the first on the chopping block. Should this really be the case? First, we need to look at the purpose of a school. What do we learn in a school? An article done by ASCD says that most of the things you're taught in school aren't really directly taught through the classes. I'm sure any high schooler can tell you that they didn't really use that AP calculus class all the way up through their career. Most of the things you're taught in school are how to make friends, set goals for yourself, never give up, be accepting, complete tasks, accomplish your goals, critical thinking. And I know these values are a little lost on us right now, considering when you Google search, "why do I go to school?" the third result is an article from the British Department of Education saying, quote, "If your attendance is very poor, the school will have to let the Education Welfare Service know." That's the British government's way of saying, why do we go to school? Because it's the law. Even they don't know why we go to school, so it's okay that these values are a little lost in our minds right now. Music has many of these benefits. For example, critical thinking. An article done by the National Association for Music Education says, kids who study the arts can learn to think creatively, and this kind of education can help them solve problems by thinking outside of the box and realizing that there may be more than one right answer. Another example for how you can learn these lessons is think about how much discipline it takes to learn an instrument. And then on top of that, it's hours before you see any progress. That's dedication. The list goes on, but you can truly see that music is very valuable to us. Another reason why we should use music to educate our kids is because everyone gets it. A poll done for this research project says that 62.7% said they listen to at least 45 minutes of music every single day. Many people even call music the one universal language. Watch this video from the World Science Festival that shows Bobby McFerrin doing a really simple act that can show a lot about music.
Watch.
Ba, 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 ba.
Okay. Yeah. What's interesting to me about that is, regardless of where I am, anywhere, every audience gets that. It doesn't matter, you know, that's just, you know, the pentatonic scale for some reason.
This is a simple and amazing display that shows that music is something we all understand, and maybe we can use that to our advantage when we're teaching people. Now, while music students can always attest to how amazing music education can be, it's great to see a little scientific evidence to see why we should keep it. Take a look at this TED Ed video that shows a little scientific look into the brain when you're playing music.
Did you know that every time musicians pick up their instruments, there are fireworks going off all over their brain? On the outside, they may look calm and focused, reading the music and making the precise and practiced movements required. But inside their brains, there's a party going on. But when researchers got the participants to listen to music, they saw fireworks. Multiple areas of their brains were lighting up at once as they processed the sound, took it apart to understand elements like melody and rhythm, and then put it all back together into unified musical experience. But when scientists turned from observing the brains of music listeners to those of musicians, the little backyard fireworks became a jubilee. It turns out that while listening to music engages the brain in some pretty interesting activities, playing music is the brain's equivalent of a full-body workout. The neuroscientists saw multiple areas of the brain light up, simultaneously processing different information in intricate, interrelated, and astonishingly fast sequences.
A full body workout for the brain? That's insane. They even go on to say that playing a musical instrument engages practically every area of your brain at once, and that's actually a full body workout. The video goes on to explain that playing a musical instrument can help you understand emotions better, strategize better, pay more attention to detail, and even enhance your memory. So if there's actually so many scientific benefits to our brain from playing a musical instrument, dropping music from our schools is really only gonna hurt us, especially in a world where we're so focused on academics. Now, the biggest argument people have with keeping music in schools is that it can sound really expensive, and it can sound expensive. Instruments, sheet music, qualified instructors, space, it all sounds really, really costly. But an initiative from the National Association of Music Merchants showed that it really only costs about $187 per year per student. And while that still may sound a little bit high for people that are living in less privileged areas of the world, I promise you it's not when we look at some more numbers. An article by US News shows that every year per student we spend about $10,667. So now, 2 figures less, that $187 doesn't really seem that bad. Now you may be questioning the credibility of that $187. And that's understandable considering it costs a lot for instruments and instructors and music. But most of that really comes with the first construction of the school. Let's crunch a few numbers here to put it into perspective. Let's take a 70-piece band using intermediate Yamaha prices from musiciansfriend.com. Without going too crazy here, let's say the school needs about 4 French horns. That would cost $13,399.96. The woodwind section would need 2 bass clarinets, 2 bari saxophones, and 2 piccolo flutes. That would cost $17,997.96. The brass section needs 3 tubas and 3 euphoniums, and that would cost $17,696.94. And then the brass section also needs marching instruments for when marching season comes in, and that would cost about $22,519.90, bringing the grand total to be $71,614.76. And that's being generous considering we haven't added in percussion and specialty instruments. Now using that $187 figure from earlier, a 70-member band would cost $13,090 per year. That's less than the French horn section costs to get instruments. Sorry guys. So it's clear after we've spent that money to build the school, the investment has been made, and it's a little bit of a waste of money to pretend that all those uniforms and that music and those instruments just sort of never really happened. We have to wonder, do people even want music in schools? I did an interview with William Warfield, the principal for Olentangy Liberty High School. Here's what he had to say on the issue. How do you think that to the rest of the community, in Powell, around Liberty, that the music program is sort of represented?
I think it's well represented. I think you can always do, it could always be more. But when you look at just the outpour, and from our trip to London that we're taking next year, the support we had in Cincinnati for OMEAs and some other competitions, it's something that I know is important and is very well represented, I believe, by us and our students here at Liberty High School.
So it's clear to say that in Liberty's community, the want is there. Now, you may be asking, JT, you use Liberty's community, where they can all afford music and say they want music. And that's a very valid point, until you realize that the school isn't actually paying for most of Liberty's music program. They have what's known as a music boosters, and many schools have these nowadays. These organizations are made to fundraise and keep the music programs running. I did an interview with Jennifer Slagle, the co-president of the Music Boosters at Liberty, to see what she had to say about things. Like how dependent on the boosters are the music program.
Very, very much so, yes. So for instance, again, the committee that was formed to raise money for the band uniforms, because we need new band uniforms, as you know, our band uniforms are very old. They raised this year alone, this school year alone, close to $35,000. I do believe they really need the music boosters. The school does not provide a lot of money for certain things. So for instance, for band uniforms, that is pretty much 100% funded by what we have been doing for our fundraising.
The school won't even pay for the band's uniforms. That's a little ridiculous to say that the parents and students have to fundraise themselves so they can have clothes. So even in a community like Liberty, where everyone's privileged and they can say that they want music, the schools aren't even providing funding for the music programs. What I did to help the cause was I made a music video and I monetized it. And you can watch it right now and help the cause, because all the money that comes from that video is going straight back to the Olentangy Liberty Orchestra program. This was an opportunity for me to take the skills that I've learned through these schools throughout the years and put it to the test to help these guys and give back. The video you're watching right now is also monetized and is also going to the same program. The ultimate goal of this whole project for me was to spread awareness of how important music is to a school. So hopefully now you have an idea of how important music can be to a school and how important it can be to a child's growth in school. We've seen scientific evidence, we've seen economical evidence, It's all there, and we should totally keep it in our schools because it can help so many people in so many different ways. So maybe now we need to rethink how important music is to school. Thank you for watching.